Welcome, ladies, to the Real Estate Investor Show, providing inspiration, strategies, and insight to empower women investors to live balanced and financially free lives. Now, here are your co-hosts, Liz and Andresa.
Welcome back, ladies. This is Liz.
And this is Andresa.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Investor Show, where we're all about empowering women to live a financially free and balanced life on their own terms. Right, Andresa?
Indeed. Whatever works for you.
Whatever works for you. So we have a minisode where 10 minutes or less, right, Andresa, depending on who's talking. Liz talks more, Andresa talks less. But we're together today. We're actually going to kind of bounce off each other because this is such a great topic. And we're going to be talking about, as the market is shifting, as we're all well aware of, unless you're living under a rock, how do you thrive in this? What do you do? How do you thrive as both an agent and investor? And there's a lot of women in our community that are both. So we wanted to speak to both roles.
Yes. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring my crystal ball here, and then we're going to talk about shifting the market.
Okay. So Andresa, we're both going to kind of speak to this and share some thoughts and some ideas. And more importantly, what do you do, right? Because, you could be listening to podcasts all day about the market, but the key is to get informed. The key is to stay informed. And then the key is to actually take action and set yourself up for success, right? That's what we all want. Yes. So as we know, the market's been a little nuts, right, Andresa?
Yes, it is. So we can tell that the market is going to shift. Other people think that it's going to crash. Pop the bubble, you can name whatever you want. So we don't have batteries for a crystal ball today. But one thing that we know for sure, actually two things we know for sure, things are going to change or things are going to stay the same. Whatever happens, there are opportunities there. So let's break it down, right? So interest rates are going up right now. So people are like, there's still deals on the market. Yes. We were having a conversation with Kim Kiyosaki another day at their real estate radio, and it's very relative to say, interest rates are higher. Well, compared to years and years ago when it was 12, 15%, it's still very low. Yeah. So who cares if the deal makes sense, right? If you are cash flowing and more opportunities, we believe that more opportunities are going to come to the market. So as an investor, you can observe, you can watch the days on the market, you can watch the inventory coming, and you can observe and you can shoot when you feel that it's a deal. The question is, do you have your criteria very crystal clear? Do you know the market as the palm of your hand? Right, Liz? And exactly. Lending. Right? How important it is to build relationship with the lenders while you're in watching mode.
Yeah. And I think the key here is so what we've been experiencing is that people have not been buying low as investors in any asset class, right? You want to buy low and sell high. This is really basic, right? We all know that. But really it comes down to that. And in the market that we've been in, especially since COVID, how many people can confidently say they've bought low, right? They've 30 offers on the table, right? From large multi to all types of deals. This is not just single family rentals. So the thought process is in the last several years, many investors have been sitting on the sidelines, quite honestly, unless the deal makes sense. We've bought in the last few years, but we've made many more offers than not. So as things are tightening up, lenders are getting a little more cautious. People are getting more nervous. This is like game on now, right? For investors, because opportunities are going to increase because you're going to be able to get in maybe a little easier than you have been, which is a really good thing. However, you have to get your stuff in your systems in place, especially from a financing. I think financing is the biggest thing because lenders are more conservative, right? So your loan to value may not be 75%, maybe it's 70%, right? And that can make or break a deal. So the question on the table is, how are you going to free up cash? I think one of the best things you could be doing right now is, what can you be refinancing? What can you be getting a HELOC on? How can you get cash in your account as quickly as possible? Legally, of course. But really, that's important, right? So if you have to do the refinance, do it now. If you have to go get a HELOC, or start setting yourself up for some private lending, private equity. People are getting nervous, but they know real estate's still a sure bet. So I would be building relationships with potential private lenders and equity partners, especially if I was experienced. That's exactly what I'd be doing right now. And knowing what the products are out there with the lenders I have worked more on the institutional side. Right, Andresa?
Yeah, for the people that have rehabs going on or just purchased them, right? Keep riding that wave. I'm sure you run your numbers, right? What happens if shifts? Well, you pivot. You're in a pivoting game right now. I want you to start looking at the numbers as if you are renting the property. If you have to hold it and rent it, because interest rates are going up one more time coming up in June, people's ability to qualify are going to decrease. Therefore, they're going to rent. So think about it too. You can sell the house if it makes sense, but I will also run the numbers as if you're holding it, refinancing it and doing the BRRRR strategy and holding it right now, because things are going to shift. From an agent perspective, right, Liz? We need to talk about the agent.
Yes.
Listen, I am calling what happened since COVID, like a 2020-ish unicorn market, right? You didn't even have to have a great description of the property to have tons of offers on the table. And I am, let's take a pause here. I'm not saying the realtors did not do a great job selling properties. Many of them got higher prices, and I hear you. I see the job that you do, and you are needed, and we love you very much. That being said, for the folks that are just joined real estate and are realtors and are expecting, quote unquote, the same reality, that's not going to work, right? The market is shifting. So what can you do? Well, what I would say for realtors, right, that just got in, or the ones that are more experienced, diversify, add investors on your pool, get to know who are the players in your area, because that's what's going to happen. Who are going to buy multiple times? The investors. Yep. If you are representing a seller, for example, you can still do that, but diversify and start communicating. And we also want them to invest, right, Liz?
We do. I would also just add, from the realtor perspective and the agent perspective, is you really need to make sure you're surrounding yourself with people that have been there and done that. And so often, right, as women, we go at it alone. And that's why Andresa and I are so committed to our Investor EXP team, in that we have a community, right? We have really experienced women leading our team to say, yeah, we've been there, and this is actually a good thing. And this is why this is a good thing. How do you differentiate yourself to, with other agents and things of that sort? So make sure you are in a community of like-minded women who've been there and done that. This is not like their first rodeo, because it isn't, in any way, especially if you've lived through the last crash. Not that we're going to get a crash, but we lived through a course correction, many of us. So that's one thing from an investor perspective. So what I will say is that you want to be cautiously optimistic. Again, opportunities are going to increase, and you keep asking, how can I buy low? How can I buy low? And the fact that you'll be in this with less people is a very good thing, just from a crowd perspective. So how can you be investing? Where are the markets that are less crowded? That's a question I'd be asking. The other big thing I'd also ask is, how do you start positioning yourself by building relationships now with the brokers, with the agents? If you're not doing that now and you want to enter a market, don't wait. Do that now. Again, whether there's always a good time to buy. Just depends on what you're buying, and just make sure your numbers aren't so tight. That would be my other. If it works at this interest rate with this, and everything works, then it's a great deal. That's not, people do that all the time, or they lose money. That's not the kind of deals I'd be getting into. So be patient. Don't, make decisions on emotion. Get as much cash as you can, whether it's yours or someone else's, legally, and start becoming observant of what's happening. And as fear increases, opportunities will increase, hands down.
Absolutely. And if you're listening to this and you're part of our investor community, go there. If you're an investor, connect with a realtor. If you're a realtor, connect with an investor. Put a post on our Facebook community about where you're looking to buy and who are the realtors in the area. Or put a post there and say, I'm looking for investors in this area over here, or I'm looking to invest myself and I am a realtor, so I can bring the freaking deal to the table. People love to hear that, by the way. So we built this community for you guys to connect with one another. It's there. It's more than 11,000 women hanging out in one single place. Go there. Share what you're up to.
And get the right education. Don't listen to people that are not even investing in real estate right now. Just those aren't the people you want to listen to. Put your head down and just know that opportunities will increase. Just be patient.
If you enjoyed this podcast and want to receive updates on our next interviews, go to our website, therealestateinvestor.com. There, you can subscribe to our show, become part of our investor community, and get updates on upcoming episodes.
If you like our show, please share it with other women who would benefit. And don't forget to leave us a rating on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it. And as always, we encourage you to take one action as a result of today's show and put it into motion so you can live both a financially free and balanced life. Thanks for spending time with us.
Ciao.